Yeah, there's just something I'd like to bring up. There's something that we've been looking at, brought up a couple months ago. I talked to Sheriff Gullidge, spoke to Chief Airwood, spoke to Assistant Chief of Health for this one, and Brian has pulled information for me on this. Something I'd like to see us add something to the chairman's budget, which comes out June 1st, is the state pension fund. All of us have spoken about this, but Brian has pulled the numbers for me on this. And currently we have 159 sheriff's office deputies, 72 detention, 6 marshals, and in the fire department we have 135 firemen here in the county. And with this state pension fund, it's nothing on the county. This is a state pension fund. What I'm wanting to do is pay their dues for them each month. That is a $20 for the sheriff's office per deputy and $25 for each fireman. And what this will cost the county in total monthly for the year will be $97,620. But I'd like to add this to the chairman's budget if in June 1st, if I could. So I've spoken to Mr. Austin, I've spoken to Mr. Jones about this. So if everybody's okay, I know we're not taking the vote today, but I just want everybody to kind of know where I'm at. And Brian has ran the numbers for us, and also I can give that to you guys.
Okay. Any other comments on that? All right, there are invited guests, there are none. Bid awards, there are none. Under reports from committees and departments, Michael Justice concerning the Veterans Park and the White Oak Park. Michael?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I apologize in advance to you for the scratchy throat and stuffy nose, but thank you for allowing me the opportunity. It's a busy time for Parks and Recreation. If we can, I'd like to start and for White Oak Park very quickly. There's a meeting being held as we speak at the park that will confirm completion of that. That project's been going on since the fall, and we have lost rental opportunities there, but it is about to be complete. There's a few things in-house that we need to do from this point, but we are nearing the opening of the reopening of some facilities there within that park setting. So bear with us just a little bit longer if you can, and we'll have that one going again. Consists of a couple of pavilion additions and some renovations in the old ones, some paving in the parking lots. All that is complete with a few touch-up items that we need to handle in-house.
In which that added, it took and added another closed area or enclosed area. That's and then right. Added 2 pavilions.
We added 2 additional outdoor pavilions in addition to that one.
Okay.
There should be more opportunities there now for group functions, whether they be inside or out. As far as the Veterans Park, thank you guys for allowing us to proceed with that way back in the fall. It was officially dedicated and opened this past Saturday morning. The estimates are between 500 and 600 people that attended that. The weather was great to us. It didn't rain on us until we left, and everybody was on their way home. If you weren't there, I hope you have an opportunity to get out and visit that facility. It's a little bit different than anything we've ever done. So it's very nice, and it fits this facility very well. I think both of them, if you've got a facility such as this, and it needs to look nice out front, and I think it does that now. So thank you for your support there. As always, when we do these types of projects, we have to have a ton of help from everybody. Local departments, DOT, Marshall, Fire, Sheriff, Kevin Kirby and the Paulding Chamber of Commerce. The school system was involved with the bands and the local kids in the ROTC. It sounds like a Grammy speech, I'll forget somebody, I'm sure, but a host of people, to pull that one off on Saturday. And numerous veterans that were able to attend, and I'm sure thankful for that, and that thankful for the opportunity that we have to honor those folks as well. Both of these projects, it should be pointed out, are SPLOST projects. And none of the development within Parks and Recreation can happen. That is our sole source for development, whether it be improvements in existing parks or development of new ones entirely. And that is our avenue to get that done. So we're thankful for that as well. The next big event, Friday and Saturday, Relay for Life will be out here. So if you haven't had the opportunity, then there's another one coming. It is officially open. Now, I would point out that there is a little bit of construction activity that's still happening. None that should affect your visit to the park at all. There's some irrigation issues, some minor touch-up issues, that sort of thing that are there. So please, when you get the opportunity, step outside, enjoy that newest park addition. Just for clarification, the Red Trail, the Red Trail is 0.50 miles exactly. So if you're one of those that needs to keep up with the mileage that you're walking, then 0.5 miles on the Red Trail. If you cut through some of those green ones and make it smaller, haven't figured that one out yet. If you do the outside loop, it's exactly a half mile. Thank you for your support, those projects. Thank you all for attending on Saturday and your continued support of what it is we try to do through Parks and Recreation.
Thank you. Of course, one of the things about that park, it is a beautiful park, but it actually honors our veterans, those that served and those that gave the ultimate price of giving their lives, which were honored there. And so there's an emblem for each branch of the military, which is under what I would call the gazebo out there. And it's a place to remember that in our country, freedom is not free.
Just driving in this morning, I saw several couples using the Red Trail, and just did my heart good. And so much feedback quite a bit of feedback from just since Saturday from the veterans on how much they enjoyed that. And the staff's sitting across the front here. I just couldn't tell you enough what a great job they did. I know Chuck here was kind of the ramrod for getting it completed on time, and even Financial Director Tabitha was out there participating. And like you said, I'll leave people out, but y'all just did a good job, and I'm so appreciative.
Chuck Rand, Mike Jones, special thanks, from me personally to those two guys. It's been a wonderful asset for me to get to work with those guys and getting that done. So
And the rain fell off.
Rain was good. It was close. We got it
Close.
Mike Jones and Tommy Leonard read off the names of the folks that are no longer with us, and that was a neat moment, very touching moment. Y'all did a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda. Next on the agenda is a consent. Discuss action of 5 consent agenda items. First one is action to authorize the county to enter into a purchase contract and execute all related documentation for the purchase of 2.8 acres consisting of a portion of tax parcel number 10830 for the purpose of acquiring property for use by the Paulding County Water System from Scorpion Real Estate Company 5 for $124,997.60. Property lies immediately to the west of the county's Macklin Road facility. Mike, do you want to make any additional comments on this?
I would like to point out that we were able to negotiate below what you authorized us, and we saved $2.40.
Okay. All right, item 2 is to appoint Katie Noblet, Charlene Ursery, and Gary kept mispronouncing it. Charlene Ursery, Susan Israel to the Paulding County Library Board of Trustees with a beginning term in July 1st, 2014 and ending in June 30th. And these nominations come from the Library Board, and which we're required or asked to approve. Item 3 is to appoint Jim McMitchin to the Board of Elections to fill the unexpired term of Eddie Fincher with a term dating beginning May 12th and ending June 30th, 2015. Item 4 is to adopt a resolution 14-13 affirming the appointment of Ben Amerson to the Paulding County Board of Assessors. Now, we approved Ben to serve, to renew his term beginning January 1st, 2014, back on December 10th, but as a requirement of the Department of Revenue that all members be appointed in the form of resolution, so this is a resolution to take care of that appointment. And then subdivision streets accepted for perpetual maintenance, which there is an attached list. They said I do not have to read it. These lists come as a recommendation from the ITF. So, you have any questions about any of these items, or would you like to move any of them to regular business? If not, we'll move on. Old business, there is none. Under new business, discuss action to adopt resolution 14-4 amending section 2-59 of the Paulding County Code of Ordinances regarding the order of business at Board of Commissioners meetings, and 2-61 regarding public participation. Jason Felters.
Commissioners, at the last meeting, y'all had asked that I draft a proposed resolution that would create an opportunity for citizens to comment on agenda items, and that opportunity occur prior to your discussing those matters as the agenda moves forward. In Resolution 14-12, you'll see that proposal, and to give you a little bit more detail in the big picture, what will happen is that, for instance, if this had been approved for the purposes of today's agenda, following Michael Justice's report from Parks and Rec, we would then enter into a period that will be newly entitled Public Participation on Agenda Items. The way the process would work is this: if it's an agenda item, there will be a requirement that the speaker registers to speak on that item. The registration period will open 10 minutes prior to the commencement of the meeting. So today would open at 9:50, and the sign up would close once the meeting is called to order. When you register, you indicate which consent, old business, or new business items you want to speak on. You write down your name and write down your address. And then once the meeting is called to order, the marshal, who will be in charge of maintaining that registration form, will have that form brought up so that when we reach the point in the meeting for public participation on agenda items, the chairman will call the name of each speaker, and the speaker will then have 5 minutes to speak on whatever agenda item that they have indicated they want to speak on. The advantage here is really twofold. It gives y'all the opportunity to receive comment during the meeting in which the agenda item is going to be considered. And two, it allows the citizens basically gives them the opportunity to review an agenda from the time it's first published up until the time the meeting is called to order, if they'd like to speak on one of those agenda items. So that is the section entitled Public Participation on Agenda Items. At the end of the meeting, as we have traditionally done, there will also be public participation on non-agenda items. The registration requirements for speaking on non-agenda items will continue as they have been. Make the request to the county, to the clerk's office no later than 5 o'clock on the Friday preceding the meeting. So, just in sum, we've got 2 public participation sections. One for agenda items right toward the beginning of the meeting, and one on non-agenda items toward the end of the meeting. Both of these opportunities will occur, one will occur at the work session, and one will occur at the regular session. Some more details in there that I'll be happy to address if y'all have any questions.
One thing I'd like to see changed is in section 2-61, item 1A, it says that a speaker must be a Paulding County resident. I'd like to see that say that it should be a Paulding County resident or property owner, because there are many times that the board takes action that affects property owners here. and since they do own property, I believe they should have a right to speak on items also.
I agree. That was one on the list of mine. You do have property owners that something could affect them, and we need to be able to hear from them. I know other counties do, and I think that's great. So if we could amend that, that would be wonderful.
Any other discussion?
I think it's great. I think it's a long time coming. I know a lot of other counties do it. I myself have been in office for 3 years and 5 months, and it's something that I've wanted to see for the last 10 years, to be honest. So I'm excited about it.
Okay.
I'll have that.
One
revision.
question, of course, that's what I was hunting for. It's actually in two sections. One is in section 1, which is on agenda items, and the other is in section 2 on non-agenda items. So I assume we would want to change it on both.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in retrospect, and I don't know if we actually check this, so that means that if you're not a property owner and you're not a resident, you're not allowed to speak, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And I have-
Well,
I mean, in these two items, according to this ordinance, if you're not a citizen and you're not a property owner, you're not allowed to address the board under the, I mean, the board can invite anybody they want, but you're not covered, because this is for citizens and taxpayers is the goal of this policy. And I know I'm opening a can of worms, but it is what it says. And it's always said that, whether we've always applied that.
I don't know that we've had anybody in the past.
I'm just covering all bases.
So
Okay. All right, if you'll make those
I'll have those
changes.
revisions for you this afternoon.
Okay, item 2, discuss action to enter into a professional services agreement for a rate and financial analysis and business plan in support of the Richland Creek Reservoir Project for Rafaelis, or financial consultants, and I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right, in the amount of $219,395, and that's being presented by Mike Jones today.
You're close, Raptellus.
Hey, as long as we send them a check, they don't care what we
They'll catch it, I'm satisfied. This contract was born out of necessity. We've entered into a period with the state GFA folks regarding state direct investment in our project, which we're very happy to have. This one of the deliverables under this contract will be to assist the state and Paulding County with determining just how much state investment we can expect on this project. There are actually 6 deliverables, and I'd like to read those to you. One is capital financing. That deals with the financing the project, including any gap that would remain. The bulk of the financing is in place, and maybe all of the financing in place, but the design's not complete yet. The project delivery, which determines how the project will actually be constructed, how you contract with the engineers, how you contract with the contractors, GCs, and so forth. There's an economic analysis and revenue projection for this project. There's an economic forecasting model that will be developed specifically for this project, and we will use that model during the entire construction phase of the project. And then there's a wholesale service comparison, which will take a look at what the cost is to produce water out of this project compared to what we're purchasing water for, as we currently do from Cobb Area Water Authority. Do a blending and see which one of those, how much water should we produce, how much water should we purchase. And lastly, and I think probably one of the most important at the outset, is stakeholder communication. There will be a website developed. I suspect that we will have an overall program manager, not a project manager, but a program manager. This project is huge. It really consists of 4 or 5 projects, depending on how you want to split it up. And the public participation portion of this thing will provide all of the information that you want to know about this project. How much money has been spent to date? When is the construction going to start? Which components are being constructed at this particular time? Who's building it? When is there an agenda item coming up for this? Anything you want to know about the project will be available as part of this. That's just one component of stakeholder communication. There will be lots and lots of community meetings held once the permit is issued. and we get started. And if you would permit me, I would like to go through just a real short update on where we stand with that. I know that's of interest to many.
Okay. Then I'll ask my question.
Okay, maybe I want the question first. Let's see. The state direct investment I spoke about earlier, we have already been selected to receive, we're one of 3 projects that were approved last year, receive a portion of just under $40 million. We don't know what the dollar amount is. That's part of what this is going to do. There's an additional $18.5 million added in the 2014 budget. Again, we don't know how much of that we will be receiving from the state in the form of investment. In 2012, we received $29.1 million from GFA in the form of a low-interest loan. 2013, we received another $21.6. In 2014, we've applied for $25 million, and we stand to find out what we will receive, and I believe that'll be August when they'll announce that. So in terms of funding, we're in very good shape. I would characterize the 3 most important things that we need to get done in the last 18 months, which would precipitate the signing of the 404, which I believe is imminent, was an approval of the stream bank mitigation plan, an update of our water needs analysis from the Georgia EPD, and then the ACT, which stands for Alabama Coosa-Tallapoosa Basin Cumulative Impacts Analysis. All 3 Georgia reservoir projects were required to be routed with a hydraulic model to show what the impacts would be on this basin just above Mobile Bay. As I explained to you the last time we met, no one was surprised when we had almost no impact. And when I say almost no impact, that's what I mean, 0.07%. It's not even within the accuracy of the model that predicted it, but the model did spew out a number. Our impact is 16.6 CFS. What does that mean in terms of water flow?
Yeah,
well, that's a drainage ditch that's flowing pretty full after a rain event on a basin that has 22,000 CFS. That's the Chattahoochee River on its worst day times 10. That, as a comparative analysis, it's insignificant. We met with Colonel Tickner, the commander of the Savannah District, actually it was early this year, I believe January. Commissioner Barnett, David Alston, myself, Michael Carter, and the EPD director were there. And what came of that was what is very important to this process. Colonel Tickner suggested, one of the problems we had was the Mobile District communicating with the Savannah District. And his suggestion was that we have one meeting to reveal the results of this impact analysis in Atlanta at the division level. That meeting has been requested by our Water System Director, Michael Carter, and we expect that meeting to occur in July. The state EPD has signed off on our needs analysis, and that mitigation plan has now been accepted by the Corps. That came late last week. I think it was Thursday or Friday last week we finally got the notification. We are in excellent shape. The U.S. Corps of Engineers, the Savannah District, is currently preparing our environmental assessment. That's the last stop. So I'm excited to tell you that good things are on their way. I don't know when we will start construction or land acquisition, those sort of things, but I will tell you it's really close. I cannot wait to bring you the pin bronzed from the signing of that 404 permit. This permitting process is intense, it's expensive, it takes a long time, and I've been working on this project since 1998, and I cannot wait to see it start.
Okay. Just a couple of things. One, I guess to put in English what we're doing. Of course, the reservoir was voted on by the citizens, I believe, in what, 98 or 99?
It's April of 1999.
Okay. And you say that we have been awarded these loans, but we've been approved for loans, but we haven't borrowed the money. The only thing we have borrowed is within that, what is it, a $2 or $3 million line of credit, in essence, that we have to fund all of these studies, correct?
$2.8 million was awarded to us for the preliminary engineering and these studies. This agenda item that you have here will be funded through that dollar amount, and you're correct. Though those loans have been awarded to us, we have not drawn them down. They're the good kind of loan. They're zero interest loans until you start actually using the money.
Right. And now, what this does is it makes sure that the citizens of Paulding County or the water system, by producing water and not paying Cobb Marietta financially, can make the payments. so that it's not tacked on to water rates and that type of thing. I mean, you're having, even though Michael's done the study, this is a third party that I believe was recommended by GFA to do this study to actually make sure that we can pay for it. And part of this process is that they will disclose through this website the information. There will be presentations made, I think up to 2 presentations by this company that I can't pronounce, to the Board of Commissioners of what they're doing. And in essence, the one big thing is that we're ensuring that this won't turn out like the fiasco of the airport, and from a public relations standpoint, that the public will be involved and will know all along what's going on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're right. That is correct. I would say that the meetings that we're referring to, we're not just talking about 2 meetings by
Right.
this company. This deliverable will set up the stakeholder communication going forward. But they will give you a presentation, give you more details about what you can expect. I've said many times that the airport situation, the poster child for how not to communicate with the public.
Amen.
This is a very popular project. It was voted on by over 75% of the public. It's been a long time coming. Paulding County will, for the first time in its history, be self-sufficient for water delivery, and we want to make sure that the citizens who are ultimately going to be funding this will not come from tax dollars, this will
Right.
come from ratepayers, are protected and they understand what's going on.
Okay. And then this will be delivered and complete by September, and that was their presentation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions, not necessarily about the resolution, but probably of interest to the citizens and myself. After we get everything completed, how long does construction take? When can we start enjoying it?
For your more technical question, I'm going to turn that over to Michael Carter. He's been more involved with the engineers on the details of the project. Let him respond to that.
Mike just does the good stuff.
As far as the design goes, we're, a year and a half into the preliminary design. That's coming to a close now. We still have to do final design of the project. That's another year roundabout worth of work, and then it's going to just start construction. I look to start construction sometime late next year is when we'll start bidding out pieces of this project. And then it'll take about 3 years to construct the project, and then an additional year to fill it. So you look in 2018, 2019 range for Paulding County to actually start using water from the reservoir.
Sheriff Gulledge, can you last that long? Is there ever a possibility that we would sell market to Harrelson or Polk?
Well, right now we already sell water to Polk County for a small section close to Yorkville. Those needs are not a part of the project as it stands right now. It is for Paulding County usage.
And this is based.
We still will maintain connections with Cobb Marietta for redundancy and things like that. So if we have issues, we have other mechanisms and opportunities to supply the water.
And last question for Mike, just confirmation. When you talk about state investment, does that mean something we don't have to pay back?
I've been cautious to be careful about how I respond to that question. The answer to your question is yes. So the dollars that the state chooses to invest in our project is of a regional nature. The less water that Paulding County consumes coming out of Altoona is a regional benefit. And part of this study puts a dollar amount on what that regional benefit is. So yes, the state will invest dollars into this project because there is a regional benefit, and every dollar that they place in this project is a dollar that Paulding County ratepayers will not be paying back.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'd like to just make a couple comments. It's one, I'd like to thank Mike Jones and Michael Carter and everybody else that's participated in the work for the reservoir. So I thank you, and it has been a long road, Mike, you're right, and I know there's a lot of folks that are gonna be glad that we get that permit. It's hard for me to sit here and listen to some of it, and Tommy, you kinda opened the door, but in '99, we did vote for the reservoir. And everything that we've done's pretty much been out in the open. And in '99, we did not vote for the airport. And everything that's been done has been behind closed doors. It's very hard for me to sit here and listen to that comment, because it has been a PR nightmare. Something has divided this county. That was not what I planned to speak on today at all. But when you open that door, Tommy, I appreciate it.
It wasn't planned, but
I know, it came out, sometimes it does, but in '99, we voted for the reservoir, and then also '99, the same people that voted on the reservoir to fund it, to do it, to build it, voted against that airport. And although we've done things, Michael, out in the open on the reservoir, and I thank you for the effort and the work that y'all have done, and it's something that the citizens will be glad to see. It's very heartbreaking for me to sit here today and see that we voted against the airport, we've got it, and then what's been done to the citizens of this county with trying to push the commercialization of the airport. And as far as I'm concerned, behind closed doors and 2-day retreats, and it's very heartbreaking to me. There's actually maybe a person or two in here that actually voted that they didn't even know that the citizens had voted against the airport back in '99. And I think people need to do their due diligence. I don't think there's anything that we should be doing in our county that's gonna be negative against any of the citizens like that. And if we're gonna break promises that were made, we need to do it out in the open. And we need to come before the citizens and let the citizens know what we're planning to do. And I hope that we've all learned a big lesson in this. I don't blame the citizens for fighting the way they have fought. I will continue to fight. But it's, some people think it's easy. It's not easy standing here alone. It's very emotional for myself and my wife. And there's not any reason that we should be doing what we're doing to the citizens of the county. When things are good and things are done right, you'll be blessed. When you do things wrong, you have things that are going on in this county like they're going on right now that divide friendships, divide families, divide citizens, divide board of commissioners. And I wish that we had some people in the airport authority and the IBA and the board of commissioners that would decide once and for all that we're going to stand up, we're going to do the right things for the citizens of Paulding County. I'll go ahead and stop talking. I appreciate this time. I appreciate the opportunity to serve each and every one of you, and I promise you I will continue to do that. Thank you.
okay. Any other questions or comments on item 6? Item 3, discuss action to authorize the chairman to enter into a contract with Heath and Lineback Engineers Incorporated in the amount of $154,818.62 for the design services for Bill Caruth Parkway Multi-Use Trail Project, Phase 1. Erica Parrish.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Erica Parrish. I'm the pre-construction manager for Paulding County Department of Transportation, and I will be the project manager for this project if it gets started. Improvements to Bill Caruth Parkway are on several projects that we're working on to provide better access to the Silver Comet Trail. Presently, the Silver Comet Trail is not accessible from Bill Caruth Parkway, and this project will provide a key connection as well as a connection back to the Will Start facilities. We are recommending approval of the design contract to Heath and Lineback Engineers. This firm was selected after a process involving an invitation for a request for proposals. Proposals were distributed to different offices. A selection committee made up of 3 departments, which were Community Development, Parks and Rec, and DOT. reviewed these proposals and unanimously selected.
That means all of you voted for it, right?
We did. We all voted for them. We felt like they were the best candidate. Since that point, we've had people line back working on a concept, and we believe we have a very good concept, and we are asking to move forward with the design. And with your approval, we would like to ask you to award this design contract to the line back engineers, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Of course, this trail is wholly in my district, so I'll ask you a few questions. Number one, in reading this, I assume we're going to put a bridge over the Silver Comet Trail, and why?
We're looking at two options, either widening the existing bridge that's there around 4 foot, or we could do a total pedestrian bridge. They're studying the cost comparisons right now. It looks like it would be a tad cheaper to widen the bridge, but we are studying that.
But why would, I mean, I know the design has people coming from one side. I mean, why not come down and get on the trail on this side and come down and get on the trail on this side? Why a bridge?
We are looking at connectivity. We want to go ahead and just keep people parallel on Mill Creek Parkway. The project that was just awarded for the Mill Creek widening would we're going to tie the trails together, connect people all the way from the Wellstar side down to Regency Park. We're looking at a ramp down to the Silver Comet Trail, actually cross over the bridge on the lower side. We just feel like that's to build the two ramp downs would be fairly expensive, and we feel like just doing the alternative and doing it over and then bringing the one ramp down it would kind of wash, and that's just the alternative we feel like would be a better solution.
Okay. And of course, this will connect everything in that area.
It will.
I mean, there's stuff on this is on the right side of the road if you're going toward 92. What about in the proposal, it talks about signaling, studying that. I mean, how are you going to get people from the other side, like from the Hiram High School?
At Hiram High School, there will be a signal. So there will be a pedestrian crosswalk to bring people over across Mill Creek Parkway to Regency Park, and they could travel the new trail. However, at Gracetown Connector, Thompson Road, there are no signals proposed right now. We'll monitor that, and once signals for pedestrian traffic, what's warranted, we would monitor and then install facilities at that time to bring people across. But right now, there's just, without the signal, I don't know if we really want to install it, like a mid-walk crosswalk.
But it'd be studied,
But
that
it will
kind
be
of.
studied.
Okay. Now, other question is of course, you're with DOT, and this is SPLOSH money, but this is Parks and Rec. So this is Michael Justice's money, and I assume Parks and Rec is on board with all this.
That's correct.
Okay. And who actually served on the committee?
It was Michael Justice, Ann Littman, and myself.
Okay. Any other questions?
You covered it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, this is the conclusion of regular business.